You're saying here about the dialing in the intent piece from a coach's point of view. What does that actually look like in the modern game? I presume it's not like you're playing days where you might not lunch out the other training, but genuinely curious, what does that look like? What can you do to make sure they're dialing for the intent sort of piece?
So I think it just needs to be present. So some of it's in your language. Some of it is, so when the lads come in first, I'll have clips for the individuals, and again, you can focus on technically I need you to be here, here, and here. And sometimes there's not enough grit in what you're doing now because you're getting managed on bind. You don't do that in an Irish jersey. So, do you know what I mean? So my approach in general, coming out in November to Six Nations, the game at scrum time is about going forward. And sometimes I'm assuming that players will, when they play in an Irish jersey, they're going to be full of intent. And sometimes that's not the case. So I think I've taken learnings from November, and I'm very conscious of how I approach any interaction I have with the players. I'm trying to make sure that there is technical bits and there's the head and the heart, that there's a fair amount of intent in how I'm delivering. So maybe there's a change in approach from me. Some guys have it naturally. Some guys, all they want to do is go forward. All they want to do is hit people. Some guys don't have it naturally and will lean into the technical side of things. So I think it's me being aware of the players I have around me, and it's the same for any other part of the game, and making sure I'm putting the right levels in, I guess.
There's a lot of supporters are worried that this team is on the decline now. What would your message be to them for them?
What would my message to the supporters around?
In general,
so for me, I've so much excitement. Like I know Paddy's injured, but Paddy's 22 years of age. I felt like a big call in November to pick him, to start him against Australia. It seems like a no-brainer now. He did so well. It's so exciting. I'm outside watching Izzy. I'm outside watching Bryn Ward. And you can see the hunger, and they're not bothered about stuff. They're ripping into training sessions. I'm watching Tyg Furlong come back, and it starts to feel a little bit different. It's disappointing and it's frustrating for anyone involved in Irish rugby, and now I'm talking about supporters, to watch the first half of rugby. Everyone will think the same thing. That's just not them. To say we're under decline, I think, is a bit disingenuous. I think that didn't look like an Irish team. It didn't feel like it, and that simply isn't it. And it's clear that that's not acceptable. And I'm excited to see how we react and how long we can sustain that reaction.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, just on the back of that, John. Obviously, the weekend gone, the result in Perpignan, Thomond Park. There is a kind of even a deeper worry that the conveyor belt isn't functioning the way it is. There's no residency players coming in. There's no Jemison, Bundy or James come in as well. Are you guys confident that even below the Izzies and the Bryn Wards, that there is a sufficient strength and depth there to come in and keep flooding the system?
There's 4 provinces. There's always going to be a limit to what you can. It was interesting that the French side, 98 or 99 top 14 caps that played in that under-20s match. I watched that under-20s match. I think it was 98 or 99 top 14 caps, and there was two URC caps in the Irish group. I watched how good the scrum was in the first half, and I thought our set piece in general was very good in the main in that game. So there's players in France getting exposed to top level rugby more than there is in Ireland, for sure. There's more teams for them to play in, etc. With the conveyor belt thing, like we had Billy Bowen in last week, the last couple of weeks. He's a 21-year-old, 22-year-old loosehead that's playing professional rugby. Alex Yusinov is played on the same 20s team as him. We brought him on an EI tour. He stalled a little bit in Leinster, but he needs to be playing rugby. He needs to be seeing the pitch a lot more than he is. Paddy McCarthy is 22. He's an international rugby player now. So I'm not saying. I hear this that the conveyor belt is not happening, but there's a 21-year-old, two 21-year-olds, a 22-year-old. Gus McCarthy. What age is Gus McCarthy? 22, 23. Tom Stewart. I looked at that front row from the 20s game. I think Bishti's going to be a really good player. I hear it a lot, but from where I'm looking at our front row groups from Finlay, who I think is the eldest, a tight head side, down to a Bishti, and I know Niall Smith is in there, and Big Red and Connacht, and there's a boatload of them. So I'm not stressing or worried. I would love more contact time with the professional game. I'd love players to get exposed more often. But it's difficult when you've got 4 teams. Every team is trying to win. I'd love them to get exposed more often. They need to get exposed more often. I was talking to Keith Earls outside. Keith Earls came up and he was telling me, he was talking to me about Luke Fitzgerald. He got capped at 18 and he started to figure things out. And Keith was saying, like, he was annoyed that he didn't get capped when he was 23. And then he had to figure things out. And he said he wished he got capped at 18 so that the penny could drop a bit sooner. And I was sitting there listening to him going, absolutely. And I'm watching the props across the country from underage, from 20s all the way up. And I'm going, he's ready and I want him to play and I hope he gets exposed because the penny will drop sooner for him. He will learn quicker. If he's got the right mentality, he's going to learn quicker, etc., etc., etc. So we want to see our players get exposed. There's a few guys that need more time. Stephen Smith is a cracking young hooker. He needs to be playing more. I'm not sure if I've answered your question, but that's how I feel about it.